everybody, I'm back with a new little series that is going on, and it's about 1780s undergarments. I wanted to do something from the 18th century for a long time, because it is one of my favorite centuries, especially to the end of it. And yes, I'm finally getting on with it and start, as always, with the undergarments. This 18th century costume is the one costume I'm focusing parallel to finishing the opera gown, so this series will run parallel with that as well. But now I'm gonna start with all the 18th century undergarments. And the first thing I decided to make was a pocket. For those who don't know, a pocket in the 18th century would have been worn under the petticoats, and you could access it through a slit in the petticoat. Also, there are many kinds of decorating these pockets. There were embroidered pockets and pockets with patchwork and plain pockets as well, and also with decorative fabrics. But I picked the embroidered ones, mainly because I wanted to try a new embroidering technique, which is the Tambour Embroidery, and it uses something called a tambouring hook or a tambour hook. And I bought this little tool a while ago, but I never got the right project to actually use it, and practicing is always a little bit boring for me. So I decided to try learn that skill on this pocket, because it's not worn on the outside and you don't see it, it's worn underneath, and it's okay if it's a little bit messed up. And it did mess up, especially in the beginning. But here the finished pocket is, and this is what we're going to make in this video. And you see down here it's a little bit puckered, and it's getting better up here where the raindrops are. Here there's very little puckering. So as I said, I did mess up, but I am quite pleased with how it turned out, and it was in fact faster than doing it with needle embroidery, that is for sure. And I will not show you the embroidery in this video, because I am far from an expert and far from anybody who can teach you. But I will show you how to make a pocket in general, however you want to decorate it. So let's get into it, and let's start with the 18th century. I started out as always with the pattern. I simply took the one provided in Janet Arnold's Patterns of Fashion 1 and scaled the pattern up to real size. I sketched my embroidery design out on the paper pattern, which I afterwards transferred to the actual fabric. Speaking of which, I cut out 3 layers in total, one for the embroidery itself, one as a backing for the embroidery, and one for the actual back of the pocket. All of it out of the same white cotton. I transferred the pattern to the pocket by DIYing my own light box, which was just my phone flashlight turned on and put into an old shoebox, and then covering this box with a glass plate. And then it was time to start the embroidery. This was the longest part of the project, and as I said before, I cut out 95% of this process simply because it's not that interesting, and also I don't want to teach you anything wrong because my technique isn't the best. And after the embroidery was done, I cut the pocket out. I forgot to mention before, the embroidered layer didn't got cut out until the embroidery was finished, because you can't use the embroidery frame close to the edge of the fabric. Then the second layer of fabric got pinned to the back of the embroidery, and this is just to protect the embroidery from whatever you carry in your pocket. And those two layers got basted together. Then I took my pre-homemade bias tape and folded one of the folds in half and pressed it. This is usually not a necessary step or something, but I did because my embroidery comes very close to the slit of the pocket and it obviously didn't want to sew over it. So I did that just for the amount I needed for the slit, and the rest was just regular bias tape with the two folds inward. Then I started finishing the slit. I first cut it open and then I pinned the tape all around and sewed it on the fold. Due to pressing it beforehand, I got this really nice narrow finish, which is seen on extant pieces as well. After that I added a third layer to the pocket, which actually makes it into a usable pocket. All those three layers got finished with a wider bias tape. It was sewn on just in the same manner as the one before. So I did the same as with the slit bias tape. I sewed it on in the fold, then turned it over and then whip stitched the edge down on the back. As the last step, I made a waistband, where I used some store-bought bias tape that got just folded in half and to catch the edge of the pocket in the middle to finish it off as well. This is not the most elegant sewing it by hand would be much nicer instead of sewing it, top stitching it actually with the machine. But well, I wanted to finish this and you don't see it anyway because undergarments. So yeah, with that my pocket was done. It's a rather easy sewing project, I think, so it's definitely suited for beginners as well. And I really hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of how I made my pocket, and hope you stick around for the continuation of the series. Thanks for watching.